Hi ho, off to work I go. I hope the business office gets my paycheck right.
Hey, come on down here. Alrighty, Shane, this is gonna be where you're gonna work at. It's the business office.
Okay. My name is Shane Murphy. My clans are Gloganishla, Twoglini Bashichin, Kia Ani Dashiche, Kia Ani Dashinala. I am going to be the new business office clerk, and today I have a joke. What did the rapper 50 Cent do when he got hungry? 58.
Hey Shane, I hope this gig works out for you. As you can see from the mess on my desk, we could really use your help. 58. Oh, I get it now. Okay, my name is Daryl Riggs. I'm the business manager here. Every once in a while I'll say but that's another joke. I'm retired from the Marine Corps. I have an MBA from the Northern Arizona University, and I've been here since 2013. Let's go over to Shannon's office so I can introduce you.
Hi Shane, my name is Shannon Jean. I just want to welcome you to the business department. Just know you'll play an important role as a supporting cast member of this department. Also remember, we are the organized and we're the calm before the storm.
Shane, let me tell you about some of the important functions that are completed here in the business office. I'm going to cover those things that are done annually first, and then quarterly, monthly, bi-weekly, and then last, things that we do day to day. You'll notice that the first thing that's listed on here is the A133 single audit. Instead of doing an audit for each interested entity, such as the BIE or the Navajo Nation, Department of Ed, or the state of Arizona, the business office only completes one single audit. That audit is uploaded to the Federal Clearinghouse, where all the entities that are interested can download it and view it. But in the business office, I always like to say that for us, the audit is a year-round thing. The audit is something that happens every day for us.
Wait, what does he mean when he says that the audit happens every day?
Well, the audit happening every day for our business department is, it depends on what's in our files. Now, everything that comes into our files should be complete as far as the purchase order and the requisitioning combined together, along with the receipts and all necessary supporting documents. An auditor should be able to come to our files and pull out any file and be able to get all the information they need out of that file.
Gotcha. Okay.
We also comply with procurement standards by putting out a request for proposal. These requests for proposal are competitive bids for those vendors who want to provide services to the school. Once these vendors are selected, the business office also does the contracts for the school year. Another thing that we also do annually is to prepare and submit the consolidated school-wide budget. This budget goes to the BIE. Once the leadership team completes the school-wide plan for the school year, the business office will prepare a budget that will support that plan. Each expenditure in that plan must be supported with a funding source within the school-wide budget. And then lastly, once the school year starts, the school will start getting a federal distribution document for each fund that is available. These detailed budgets are developed so that the plan that the leadership team came up with can be implemented. On a quarterly basis, the business office must complete and submit the standard form 425. This form reports all of the expenditures on a quarterly basis to the BIE. The BIE utilizes this document to make sure that we're in compliance with our plans. The business office must also complete and submit the Federal Form 941 to the IRS. This one reports the federal withholding for each employee plus the Medicare and Social Security for the employee and the employer. And then we must also complete and submit the quarterly report for state withholding for each employee.
Wait, do I have to pay state taxes?
Well, the rule is, Shane, if you work on the Navajo Nation and you're Navajo, you may opt out of paying state taxes. However, if you still want to pay taxes, you have that option as well.
We also submit the Unemployment Insurance Quarterly Report to the Arizona State of Economic Security. This one tracks the unemployment status for each one of our employees. Should they ever need it in the future, the reports will already be there. And then lastly, for a quarterly basis, we assist in completing all reports that are in a Native Star. The Native Star is used to track the program and plan implementation throughout the school year. On a monthly basis, the business office must make sure that the bank reconciliation is completed. This is kind of like balancing your checkbook at the end of the month. Everything that's on the bank statement has to be reflected in the accounting software. In addition to the bank reconciliations, the detailed budgets have to be provided to the department managers and also those personnel that are running the different programs. On a bi-weekly basis, the business office will run the payroll for all employees and then take care of all payroll-related financial transfers. On a daily basis, or as required, the business office processes the TAs, both the travel authorization and travel advances, and then takes care of the travel reimbursements as the paperwork is completed. We also process requisitions into purchase orders, and then last, we also process stipends for each school board meeting. The last thing on our day-to-day functions is to process orders to completion. This includes getting and attaching all of the receiving documents. We also need to make sure that we have signatures for those items that have been distributed down to the personnel who ordered it. For our short-term goals, we want to develop a procedure to import our payroll data into MIP. It's also imperative that we complete the fiscal year 2020 audit prior to the due date of March 21st, 2021. We also want to develop a standard operating procedure so that we can prevent repeat findings on our annual audits. For our long-term goals, we want to streamline the reporting processes so that all external reports are produced directly out of our electronic accounting software. If MIP develops all the reports that go to the BIE or to the Navajo Nation, that provides a better system so that we know that the system is working and that the reports are accurate. We also want to develop checklists so that we can provide services in an error-free environment. As far as payroll goes, we want to make sure that none of the documents that are necessary to run payroll are missed. For our issues and concerns, the first one is to develop a procedure to import payroll data directly from the ADP system into MIP. Another concern that we have is that we still get too much incomplete or inaccurate documentation submitted to the business office. This one includes incorrect documentation on requisitions, on TAs, reimbursements, and on payroll data. And the last one is that the business office spends too much time collecting travel documents and travel expense reports from employees once the travel is done. A lot of this has been alleviated once we involve the principal in the process. We all know that the coronavirus has impacted the way that we do our work. In the business office, a lot of these issues can be mitigated through planning and prevention. The big thing about the business office is that a lot of our work, most of our work, has to be done on site because this is where our electronic accounting system is. So the concerns about our protection and the prevention efforts is that we have to make sure that we don't get exposed. So we have to follow the CDC guidelines, and this is where a lot of the stuff that we take for granted is taking place. we have to make sure that we have a proper response. We covered the CARES Act funding in a previous presentation, but we have to make sure that the staff understands all of the expenditures under the CARES Act has to meet strict guidelines. The first one of these is that your purchases must be substantially different than what you normally do. The teachers can make sure that they understand this by just the fact that if they bought it last year, most likely it doesn't qualify for CARES Act. If you bought textbooks last year, it doesn't qualify. If you bought pens and pencils, it doesn't qualify. However, this is the first year that you're going to be buying disinfectant, mask, other PEP in bulk, which makes it different. The other thing is that it has to be an extra cost to the way that you're doing business. If you normally don't have to do those kind of things that prevent an illness or a virus, that kind of stuff qualifies for the CARES Act funding. We also talked about one-year reauthorizations in the previous presentation. And then remember, I talked about significant deficiencies and material weaknesses over financial statements. This is one part of the audit, and what this means is that the auditor is only looking for those mistakes that are made on the financial statements. A mistake can be done by either a miscalculation within the business office, or they're also reporting any mistakes that we routinely make as a school. So some of the stuff that they wrote up for the last year's audit was concerning disbursements. We had purchases before the POs. We also had purchases that went over the amount. We paid out incorrect per diem rates, and then the per diem for one-day travel, which is no longer authorized. The purchases overlapping the fiscal years. As far as our revenue is concerned, we also had revenues that overlapped the fiscal year. The bank reconciliations. The big issues with the bank reconciliations was that the journal entries that were made to track the cash balances were not reviewed by a second person. And then that our bank reconciliation reviews were not dated so that the auditors could not tell exactly when those bank reconciliations were completed. And we also had deficiencies and material weaknesses over our federal awards. This one included background checks that were not done in a reasonable time, and then background checks that were not reperformed in a timely manner as required.
Okay guys, I'm gonna head out now. Thanks for all the information that we covered today. I hope to use it sometime this year.
Okay, bye. Do you really think he's coming back?
I don't know. Remember, he's aspiring to be a comedian.